All right, we are done at the cafe here. Gotta walk home, gotta go Christmas shopping. We're in December, baby. It's December in Medellin. In this video, I'm gonna go over the most important things that you should know before moving to Medellin. Number one is that you will get kidnapped and robbed, so make sure that you don't have any contacts in your phone, and make sure that you don't carry your phone out like this when you're in public, and that you don't have any of your banking information on the phones, because they will get you. Just kidding. So obviously, if you're watching this video, this is not for the tourist. This is for someone that wants to relocate to Medellin and maybe live a more permanent life here, whether it's, part-time, maybe buy an apartment here or rent for half the year or a few months. Got a lot of clients like that for the Medellin Masterclass, and also for our Medellin Living real estate company. I've been here for 15 years. I've helped hundreds relocate. I've helped many buy properties out here, including myself. These are the most important things that you should know, starting with number one, what type of visa you're gonna get to live in Medellin. And it's something that you should be thinking about before you even, start your move out here. So depending on what type of visa you get, it'll work towards your residency. For example, a digital nomad visa could get you in Colombia for a year, no problem, but if you want to become a Colombian resident at some point, the digital nomad visa doesn't really help you out. It could buy you time, which is not a bad idea. But if you do want to work towards residency right away, you want to look towards a more permanent type of visa. For example, the buying a property out here and applying for the investor visa or the property owner visa. The other permanent visa is the pension visa or the retiree visa. So in order to qualify for the real estate visa, you've got to invest in a property or buy a property at a certain amount. That certain amount will change every single year because it's closely tied to the minimum wage. For example, we're in 2025. This year, the minimum investment requirement was about $135,000. But that's kind of, you can't really take that to the bank, because every year it goes up based on the minimum wage. So 2026, that minimum amount might be $140,000. In 2027, that might be $170,000. So it's always going to be going up incrementally based on the minimum wage. So let's say that you buy a property for, let's say, $140,000, whatever the minimum is next year in 2026. And they give you a 2-year visa. After 2 years, you're gonna have to renew that, because in order to get residency, you have to hold that visa for around 4 or 5 years. So you're gonna have to renew it at some point. When you go to renew it, the new minimum might be $160,000, $170,000. And now your property won't qualify for that. You're gonna have to do paperwork to show that your property increased in value. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to do it. It means that you might not be able to do it, because it is Colombia. So the best bet is to buy a property that will cover you for the next 4 or 5 years of increasing minimum wages, and obviously increasing minimum amounts for investors to qualify. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you have a good visa attorney. If you do join our Medellin Masterclass at medellinmasterclass.com, you'll get access to all of our attorneys and our professionals, because I've heard some horror stories where people, they hire a local attorney because it's cheaper. The guy doesn't really speak English, or the gal doesn't really speak English, and they've helped a couple people, but they're not pros at this yet. So they apply for that visa and they get denied because some paperwork was done wrong, something didn't go through to the right people, etc., or some requirement wasn't met. Now you're out the $200 that you paid the cheap attorney and a whole year's worth of work, and you don't have a visa, and you might not be able to apply for it again. Or you're just gonna have to pay the more expensive attorney that knows what they're doing, but you've lost time and money. So make sure that you hire the right people. So that's number one, visas. I do have a list here. I do prepare for these. Somebody asked me if I wing these walking vlogs. No, I don't wing it. I know exactly where I'm walking to. That's why I'm waiting for this traffic to die down here so I could cross the street, because there should be a stoplight here, by the way. Okay, so number 2 is getting your RUT number, or your Colombian tax ID number. If you're gonna be here for any long period of time and you wanna establish a life in Colombia, you're gonna have to get a tax ID number. So the RUT number is super important, because if you wanna open up a bank account, you're gonna have to have the RUT number. Most banks will ask for it. If you wanna rent an apartment, most rental agencies will ask you for an RUT. And if you want to get paid by someone out here, most people will ask you for an RUT number. Let's say you're gonna get hired somewhere, or maybe just work as an independent contractor. The company paying you, or the person paying you, will want to write it off as a tax write-off, but they need to know who they paid, so they'll ask for that RUT number, so it's super important for you to have it. And I think even more importantly is to establish credit in Colombia. If you at some point would like to buy a car here, or get a mortgage, or get credit cards, etc., you're gonna have to have credit history, and the best way to do that is by having the RUT number. So how can you get the tax ID number? Well, you can do it online now, I believe. When I got mine 15 years ago, when I got my first job here, I had to do it in person at the DIAN office. The DIAN is the Colombian version of the IRS. Now I believe you could just go to their website. According to ChatGPT, of course I looked it up, you're supposed to go to the dian.org website. But regardless, all you got to do is look it up online, and there are multiple blogs that take you step by step on how to get it. So yeah, getting your RUT, super important, especially if you want to live like a local and not just a tourist. Oh, and some people don't get a RUT, an RUT number, or a tax ID number, because they think that, oh, if I get one, I'm on the Colombian radar now, and I'm gonna be having to pay taxes here. That's absolutely false, which leads me to my next point, Colombian taxes. It's super important anywhere you go and anywhere you live to figure out what the tax situation is like there. Here in Colombia, if you are a foreigner and you live in Colombia for more than 183 days, you become a tax resident. It means that you have to file taxes. And technically, you're supposed to include your worldwide income and assets. Remember, Colombia has a wealth tax. Super important to know. Something important to note is that if you are American and you pay taxes in the United States, you do get an exemption for the taxes that you paid in the US here in Colombia when you do file, so you're not getting double taxed on your money. On top of that, if you are an entrepreneur, if you've got many assets, you probably don't have them all under your name. They're probably protected. That's what I would do. But again, you want to talk to the right people, which reminds me, if you're looking to make a move to Medellin and you're serious about it, you're going to want to look into the MedellinMasterclass.com. It's a 6-hour course, 22 modules that me and my business partner created, along with all of our trusted professionals like our tax attorney, real estate attorney, healthcare professional, etc., that go through everything you need to know about moving to Medellin and making that move smooth. Even things as simple as hiring a cleaning lady. That could get complicated. If you hire someone and they get hurt in your house, how are you protected? Just something simple like that I've seen can turn into a nightmare. We help you to mitigate your risk. There's a link in the description below to the Medellin Masterclass webinar. It's a free webinar. Make sure you have about an hour to watch it. And if you do watch the whole thing, you get a pretty big discount on the Medellin Masterclass. And once you join, we will add you to our private group on WhatsApp, answer questions, you'll introduce yourself to the group. Once you're here in Colombia, you have a group of friends already. We get together and we do things, we meet up. For example, this Thursday, we are having a real estate meetup with a bunch of other real estate professionals out here and investors and people that have bought properties, etc. So yeah, it's a huge asset, especially for those that are relocating. Now, back to the list. Number 4 is renting like a local. Remember we talked about getting the tax ID number? Once you have that, you can start your process of renting a property like a local. You don't want to just rent furnished apartments you know, your whole time here and paying top dollar, because, you know, that's what tourists do. And that's okay for a tourist to do it because they're only going to be here for a short term. But if you're here long term, you're going to want to rent an unfurnished apartment for a year, and that price difference is huge. We're talking about sometimes even a 75% difference between the price of a furnished apartment and a non-furnished apartment in the same area, sometimes in the same building. I know because I have that. I own a few Airbnb apartments where the price, the monthly price is about $2,000 per month. If you were to rent an apartment in that same building through an agency, it would only be like $800 a month. So you want to learn how to rent like a local. Having that tax ID number helps you do that because they're going to ask you for that. You're going to want to start networking with people out here because they're going to ask you for a cosigner that meets certain requirements. It's not just like anybody that will cosign for you. It has to be people that have good credit in Colombia, someone that might own property in Colombia, someone that makes 3 to 4 times the amount of your rent. I've been here for 15 years. I haven't seen a service where someone offers to cosign for people for a certain price. You have to do this with individuals, and they have to be individuals that meet those requirements. But once you do, your savings go through the roof. We're at my favorite little park here. I already drank my coffee, so didn't bring it with me. Okay, the 5th most important thing to note when moving to Medellin is to be prepared for your life to completely change for the better. We're talking about better sex life, better finances, and less stress, more friends, better connections, deeper connections with people. Your life is going to be so much better than it is right now in your home country that you're going to want to be here forever. But you got to be prepared for that, because some people overindulge and ruin their time here and have to leave. So you want to make sure you check yourself, make sure you're prepared, and make sure to have a super happy stay in Colombia. Number 1, I think, is learning Spanish, because once you learn Spanish and are into the culture, that makes your stay a lot easier and a lot better, and it helps you not be taken advantage of. Which brings me to another point. Make sure that you don't become el marrano, the pig that everyone feeds off of. Make sure that you know how to set boundaries. Make sure that you know how to say no to people, no matter how beautiful they are. Make sure that you don't get taken advantage of, because that can put salt on your stay in Medellin or in Colombia as a whole, or anywhere in the world. But here particularly, I've seen it happen to people. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that you're just gonna cruise through your stay in Colombia because it's gonna be easy. You're a foreigner and you've got dollars. No, it's not easy, especially if you aren't prepared for your stay here. So let me know in the comments, how many of you guys are looking to make a transition to Colombia, or whether it's part-time or permanent, or let me know in the comments, those that have made the transition, how your time is going. Have you gotten your RUT? Are you dealing with Colombian taxes? Are you dealing with asset protection now that you realize that there's a wealth tax here? I've seen all of those cases. Again, there's a link in the description below to a free webinar. There's also a link in the description below to work with me and my company, Medellin Living Real Estate, to buy property out here if you're ready for that. And I know not everybody is ready for either the Medellin Masterclass or to buy a property right now, so you're not gonna click on that. And you might not even need a paid consultation. So I am doing a one-time free Zoom call with only 20 people. There's a link in the description below to a form where you can fill that out. I've got to vet you to make sure that you are the right type of person. I don't want people asking me like, well, what's the weather in Medellin? What should I pack? Is it dangerous? Am I going to be kidnapped? You should have the answers to those questions already. This is for serious people that are heavily considering moving to Medellin, buying property in Medellin, or starting a business out here and need more answers to their serious questions. And I want everyone to participate and get something out of this call. So if that is you, make sure you click that link, fill out that form. I'll send you the Zoom call information, and I'll see you in a few days. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. I will be going live next Friday, so make sure to follow along. We'll see you guys in the next video. Buenas.